Hello again. So today we're actually going to be dealing with volume of right rectangular prisms. So one of the nice things about us teaching this second is you guys have already been exposed in science. Now there's a couple little things that I may teach you a little different, but that's only because as of right now we have a rectangular base. So when I'm talking about a base, what I'm talking about is this little area right here, which I'm going to make that smaller. So when I'm looking at this, the reason why I'm calling this my base instead of one of the other sides is because if I was to flip this figure over and have it to where I actually draw this in a little bit. So if I was to basically fill this in a little bit, this would technically be the other base. Now, what that means is we have two bases, or two ends, that are the exact same. Which means that we have one that is what you basically see here, minus the horrible drawing. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done 3D figures. So we have this one shape here, but we've also got at the top. So if you want to think about yourself, your bottom of your feet and the top of your head are basically a base. They're the two sides of you that are about the same size. Now, obviously, some of y'all have much bigger feet than you do the top of your head. But some of y'all may have similar proportions. So when I look at this, this would be a base because the top and the bottom are the two sides that are actually the smallest, and they're the only two that are the same. Our big B is the area of these bases. Now, here in 6th grade, we're not as worried about bases as we are going to be, say, in 7th and 8th grade. That's because later on, your prisms are actually named by your bases. We have triangular prisms, rectangular prisms, etc. Rectangular prisms, hexagonal prisms. There's a lot of prisms out there. But their bases are what cause them to be named. So the nice thing about 6th grade is, if you forget which one's the base, that's okay. You're just looking for the area of your base. Now the fun thing is, in 6th grade, all of our bases, or all of our numbers, we can just multiply them because our bases aren't any different than, so if we start off with big B, H, which is what it has in our formula. What this actually looks like is I have a little base times a height, and then the height of my overall figure. So what this looks like, my big B. So I have big B. So one thing I'm going to suggest that you do is go ahead and label all your bases. And then this right here would be 10.2. And then this right here would be 3. So your base shape is basically this 4 5/10 times 3. Now the height of the overall figure, as I'm trying to color and not coloring, height of my overall figure is going to be the height of the base. So one thing I talked to one of mine about in the past was I said to think about a crate or a box, and you're filling the bottom. How the base works, when you fill the bottom, that's your area. The volume comes when you start stacking your bottom. So from here, all I'm going to do is just basically multiply all three numbers. So if you forget, in 6th grade, we can just multiply all three numbers. So we can do 4 5/10 times 3. I get 15. 13, there's one decimal there, one decimal there. Then I can do 13 5/10 times 10 2/10. So I'm going to do 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to zero that out for my 0. And actually, I'm going to zero it out for my 2. And then I'm going to add in another 0 because of that 0. So I've got 1 2 spaces. So I'm gonna actually put that in a different color. That way you remember what these two are for. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just multiply by 1. So 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. This only works when this second digit right here is a 0. If it's any other number besides 0, then you'll actually have to put zeros. But since it's going to be all zeros anyway, I'd rather just put the 0 and be done. So I'm left with 0, 7, 7, 3, 1. There is 2 digits behind a decimal, so 1, 2. And I'm left with my volume. It's equal to 137 and 7/10. I could put the 0 if I wanted to. But then I have yards, and because there is 1, 2, 3 of them, my measurement is what we call cubed, or also known to the 3rd power. Now, when I come over here to my next one, I'm not going to try to figure out what the base is. I'm going to just assign 2 of these as my base. Because my base shape is a rectangle, I'm going to just call this one my base because I see these 2 numbers are real quick and really easy next to it. 42 times x. So I'm going to just call this 4.2x times 10. Now, if you notice, this doesn't quite work because I'm also given my volume, which is 210. From here, probably the easiest way to do this is to take my 4 2/10x times 10, which gives me 42x is equal to 210. Now, because I'm multiplying 42 times x, I'm going to divide each side by 42. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily know what 42 times what is equal to 210. So I can make myself a little T-chart. You don't have to. This is just something I do to help my own self. So I have 84 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 4 plus 8 is 12. That'd be 3. 4 would be 168. And this would be my 210. So I know this x is equal to 5 based on my T-chart. Now, I want to make sure that I do use in my label, so I'm going to go ahead and write out 5 centimeters. Now, this is only 1 because I'm just looking for my height. All right, so yet again, I'm going to start with my formula, big BH. And if you'd like, you can even do the little BH times H next, if that will help you. From here, I'm going to use pretty easy. I'm going to use 11 times 9, and I'm going to multiply that by 10 6/10. So I know 11 times 9 is 99. So now I just have to do 10 6/10 times 99. 6 times 0, or 6 times, wow, 9 times 6 is 54. As I'm trying to write a 5 right down there. So I can put my 5. 9 times 1 is 9. And then I have 0. And what do you know? It's the exact same number. 4, 5, and 9. And then when I go ahead and plus this out, I get 4, 9, 5 and 9 is 14. So I get 101,049 and 4/10. Now, because this is volume and I'm multiplying by 3 numbers, this becomes feet cubed. Now, something else you can do, for those of you who may have already done it, you can go ahead and put in your comma there. That is fine. Nobody says you can't. All right, so we're going to start with my volume is equal to big B times H. Now it's a lot of words, so that means I don't have to worry about a picture. That's a good thing. It tells me my height. My prism has a height of 9, a volume of 243, and it wants to know what's the area of the base. Hey, what do you know? That's my big B. So I can put it times 9. So I'm going to divide this each by 9. 243 divided by 9. I know that becomes 2. So that becomes 1. 14 minus 8 is 6. Drop down my 3, 63. All right, so I've got 27, which subtract that out, becomes 0. So my area, my base, becomes 27. Now, because it's area, when I do my inches, it's got to be squared or have that power of 2 because I did inch times inch to get to there. Hopefully this helps, and if y'all have any questions, remember, just pause the video, and Miss Clapper can always come get me if she needs to. All right, hopefully y'all are having a good day. Thanks, bye.